This is the Vivat Humanitas, a silver coin that should make you a better person and whose namesake goes back to ancient Greece celebrating the human influences on Earth. Is this a coin you should grab for your collection? Did they hit or miss on the historical significance? Find out today as we dive deep into this stellar coin here on the Culture of Currency. When we look at this fantastic coin, we are met with many elements that enchant the eye and almost lead one to believe this is a token needed to enter a sacred place. We are going to figure out exactly what all this means as we dive into the ideas and inspirations of this most fascinating coin. We need to start with the name and inspiration. This is a coin called the Vivat Humanitas. This is a Latin term. Vivat translates to he lives, and humanitas translates to humanity, and when conjugated, this old term has mixed definitions based on one's perspective, so we need to start from the beginning. The first use of this term that I could find goes back to ideas in ancient Greece. Two of the first I can find are philanthropia, which is a love of what makes us human, and paideia, which is a process of education. Both of these ideas eventually helped make up what was the Roman code of conduct. In fact, the Roman leader Cicero is who we can really attribute humanitas to when he stated humanitas describing the formation of an ideal speaker or orator who he believed should be educated to possess a collection of virtues of character suitable both for an active life of public service and a decent and fulfilling private life. These would include a fund of learning acquired from a study of the bone litterae, which are the good letters in classical literature, which usually were poetry and other writings, which would also be a source of continued cultivation and pleasure in leisure and retirement, youth and old age, and good and bad fortune. I love how it is clearly present for good and bad fortune. This means it should be a constant. I've always believed that when you strive to be a perfect version of yourself, you should lead this exact constant. Your friends and your enemies would therefore get the same version of you. You would not be changed based on your situation or setting, thus being truly free. The world would meet you where you are and not the other way around. We also see humanitas as it corresponds with philanthropia and paideia, which are the ideas of guiding the proper exercise of power over others. Cicero used these terms to his brother when he said, "If fate had given you the authority over Africans or Spaniards or Gauls, wild and barbarous nations, you would still owe it to your humanitas to be concerned about their comforts, their needs, and their safety." From this point, the idea of humanitas was used in leadership. This idea is one of the big separators of the animal world. You do not see the zebra go out of its way to help a baboon. You do not see eagles fly to the aid of the bear. Symbiotic relationships do exist, but there is a mutual need for the other party involved. Humanity has its flaws, as we all see on the news constantly, but it also has the most amazing thing, which is our ability to recognize our dominion and actively do good in what we can control. Our hope for a better future is in humanitas. Our hope for peace is in humanitas. The love of a neighbor or aiding those in need, all humanitas. We see many of the sins of humanity echoed by other animals, but we do not see much humanitas in nature. We are outliers as humans and therefore have the ability to provide great good or great evil with our actions or inactions. I firmly believe that this is what this coin can teach us. Now that you understand what sparked this coin as an inspiration, we can talk about its symbology as we place it on our 60-point scale. And what I have noticed to be a Pressburgment tradition or obverse or front of the coin is the side that does not feature the queen. That means this is our obverse. The first thing that catches our eye is an 8-pointed star. This is called an octagram and symbolizes life, fertility, and wards against evil. Great choices for a coin like this. We notice in each arm of the star a weird symbol, some of which I recognized and some I had to look up. These are alchemy symbols, 4 of which that look like this represent the 4 alchemy elements of earth, fire, air, and water. while the other 4 are different symbols for the same thing, silver. I was familiar with 2 of these silver icons, but I had no idea that there were so many associated symbols for silver. Some of these are dual-purpose symbols. We also see at center mass the sun and moon, which represent gold and silver, darkness, light, male, female, and other natural dualities. If you stretch your gaze wider, you are met with 2 crescent moons, which are once again symbols for silver with 4 nines. All of this casts on a canvas of more alchemaic symbols, which represent many different things for both ancient alchemy and astronomy. All of this held in a 10-sided border, which meets the edge and rim of the coin. This is a world-class design and is a perfect 10 in score. When we move to the reverse, we see something I always welcome, a continuation in theme. The alchemy textured background is a fantastic touch. Her Majesty rests atop the symbols, and we have a couple of new symbols who have joined the party. The symbol at the top is called the Philosopher's Stone. This was the fabled way to turn base metals into gold. The pursuit of this stone is called none other than the Magnum Opus, or Great Work, which just so happens to have its own series as a cousin coin. Funny how these intertwine. We also have the 12-pointed star, which is a symbol of significance in both monotheistic religions such as Christianity as well as polytheism, which is what ancient Greece would qualify as polytheism would be many gods. I believe this is more along the lines of what is created with the ancient geometry of 4 circles, which can denote sentence, spirit, matter, and thought, which falls in line with our theme. The symbol in the middle, it was harder to find, but I'm pretty sure it is in reference to sacred geometry, which is one of the most noble studies as it found correlation between the divine in all things. As you can see, this is also a well-done design. Both sides can be argued that they are overly busy, but holding them in the light shows that the background is very muted and thus provides balance instead of competition. I think this side is fantastic and also scores a 10, knowing that it is required for Tokelau to have Her Majesty present. Now for mintage. This is a coin from a series that caps its mintage at 30,000. This is a great number and scores an 8. Cultural significance is next. The small Pacific island of Tokelau has become very good at understanding the premise that some things are present in every culture. These ancient ideas have been studied by all parts of humanity. The study of oneself and humanity as a whole is something I think we do little of today, but before we had internet, TV, and radio, we had time to quietly process and think. This allowed us to question ethics and principles and decompress our day-to-day lives on a macro and micro level. This being a part of all cultures, I scored an 8. Now for collectability. We have a limited and fairly low mintage with a series that changes from year to year. The artwork is stellar, and anything coming from the Pressburg Mint seems to be on trend to be in demand. I think this is a fantastic coin for collectability, and it scores a 9. For uniqueness, have you ever seen a coin like this? I have not, and even from year-to-year perspective. This coin has changed series production so much so that if there was nothing that told me this was a series, I might miss it. This being said, it is overwhelmingly unique and scores a 10. Now for our final thoughts and score. The Vivat Humanitas coin crosses the line at 55 out of 60. What are my final thoughts? Well, anytime you have a coin that can offer you the ability to really sit and think about humanity as a whole, as well as your individual attributions, the coin has hit the mark. We like to look at artwork, go to movies, and read books. When something you can observe changes your path, it is life-altering. This idea was so life-altering to many from Cicero through the French Enlightenment. We still see these traits in humanitarian efforts around the world. This is a coin, therefore, that I recommend for every collection, as the more you dive into the mystery, the more opportunity you have to grow yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.